Hey there folks, my name is Peter and welcome back to yet another unboxing. On today's episode we're going to go through 6 Amazon boxes that include everything from tools to PPE and then a few things I picked up at Costco that I just want to put on your radar in case you might find them interesting. As always, if you're into tools, EDC or do-it-yourself projects, be sure to subscribe to the channel. So let's give ourselves a little room here and get in first to these smaller packages. Now I know everything that I bought, but I don't know what's in all of these cases. So we'll just have to figure it out together. Okay, so this is actually more of an EDC type item. I actually haven't done an EDC video on the channel in quite a while. If that's something you might find compelling, let me know. But I have recently picked up a LAMY Safari fountain pen. It is super smooth. I actually just wrote all of the wedding thank yous that I had to write using that pen. I really enjoy it. What I have found is that it does run out of ink a little quickly. So here are 4 refills for the pen that I will make use of. I haven't yet began to carry that pen on like a daily basis, so I don't really consider it a true EDC pen yet. That's not to say it won't be an EDC pen in the future, and I just love pens. So had to pick up some refills. As with everything on this video, I will have links to all the stuff in the description if you're so inclined. Next, another one of these small packages, and then we'll get into the bigger stuff. So what do we have here? So this is yet another EDC item, and it's sort of a funny story. So my wife and I, when we were traveling, I forget exactly where we were trying to get to. It wasn't our honeymoon, but we were traveling somewhere together, and our flight out of our home airport was delayed such that when we made it to Atlanta, our connecting city, we had missed the flight to our final destination. The airline, Delta, did give us a voucher. Long story short, it turns out the voucher couldn't be used for the hotel that they said it could. I ended up running about 1.5 miles trying to find us a hotel. We ended up staying at what could only be described, I'll just call it a hole in the wall. There's another word I'd like to use, but I don't want to swear on this video. And anyway, it was not pretty. Neither did it feel safe, nor was it clean. But at this point, it was well past midnight. Our next flight was leaving at 6:30 in the morning. We had to lay our head to rest somewhere. But the catalyst for this purchase was that experience. So this is bed bug treatment travel spray. TSA approved, and this is something that will travel with us in the future if we should ever end up again in a situation like that. Hopefully we won't, but if we do, we're going to spray down the bed and just feel a little bit more comfortable before we lay our heads to rest for the night. So if you find yourself yearning for this type of product, I will have it linked in the description below. Next, we're going to get into one of our first big boxes. As always, we're using our Snap-on CRKT rebrand pocket knife. I really appreciate this thing. I don't know what exactly this blade shape is called, but I like that it doesn't come to a stiff point here at the end. You know, most of what I'm using this for is opening boxes anyway, so. Okay, so this one is actually gonna serve as a sort of precursor to a future video, which is I need to do a full service on my Craftsman zero-turn lawnmower, oil change, air filter, spark plugs, change the blades, etc. I made use of this full synthetic Briggs & Stratton 5W30 oil when I did the summer service on my snowblower, and I didn't have enough left over to do the lawnmower, so I decided, you know what, we're gonna buy 4 bottles because as best I could tell, this is really good stuff. And I may end up even using this, actually no, I'm not gonna use this in the UTV because I buy the Kawasaki oil, but I have enough for that for the next service. So now I have 4 bottles of this. I can do the lawnmower this year, and then I'll have some in storage in case I need it. And I don't know, as best I could tell, this is pretty good stuff, and I'm excited to do the next service. All right, let's go top to bottom here. So this next box, what could be in this one? We still haven't gotten to any of our PPE stuff yet, but I promise you that we have a lot of PPE stuff we are going to unbox. And I think you're gonna wanna stick around for that because it might just save your fingers, your eyes, and your lungs. All right, so there's a few things in here. None of them are related. So we'll get to the small stuff in a second. First and foremost, I needed some new PLA. I do some 3D printing. I've never done a 3D printing video on the channel. That's not true. I did a YouTube short because I had designed this very simple little McGaffer that you could attach to the back of like a figurine or an action figure. Once you attach it, it was big enough to fit a little magnet, and then you could stick it on the wall. So you should check that out if you're interested. But I have been trying to print more basically storage solution type stuff, and I just ran out of my black PLA. So these should be, yeah, these are both black. This is the SUNLU. I don't know in terms of like overall quality if this is the best, but it's about $20 for one of these boxes, so I think it's pretty good. I'm not going to open it just yet because I want to keep it in its little protective plastic here, keep the moisture out. But if you're interested in 3D printing content on the channel, let me know. Next we've got, what are these? These are Spade connectors, is that right? Crimp connectors. The reason I had bought this kit, and as I'm looking at these, I don't know if these are of the highest quality necessarily, but I had a project the other day where I was using a rocker switch. I think that's what it's called. And it had 2 posts for your wires. And for the purpose of what I was trying to do, I did wrap the wire around it. But I thought to myself, you know, I think that there's a better way. And I think this is that better way. So basically you would take one of these female connectors, crimp it onto your wire, and then you could just stick it on the post. So this whole kit was a couple bucks on Amazon. Of course, these are all made in China. And again, as I'm looking at these, I don't know that this is the highest quality, but we'll have to use it and find out. Next, going back to this idea of doing the full service on the Briggs & Stratton lawnmower, or the Craftsman lawnmower rather, with the Briggs & Stratton engine. Some new spark plugs. And then we actually get into our first piece of PPE. So I was on YouTube the other day and I was recommended a video by someone who was telling a story in which they wore their wedding ring in the wood shop. And they were using a cutoff wheel, like a handheld cutoff wheel, and they had a titanium wedding ring on, and the cutting wheel got stuck in the ring. Now they were going to find themselves in a bit of trouble no matter what, just given you know, the speed and the power with which that thing was turning, but it was all exacerbated by the fact that they had on this titanium wedding ring, which it could not cut through. So it caused them quite a bit of heartache as a result and pain. So I said to myself, you know, I had been toying with the idea of getting some of these rubber rings for the shop for a while now. Let's just do it. So in future videos, you won't see me wearing this ring anymore. Instead, I will be wearing one of these rubber joints. Now, you have to pick a size, and most of the reviews said, you know, you should go a size or a half size to a full size smaller. So that's what I did, because my wedding ring is actually a little bit big anyway. It does fit. It is actually a little tighter than the other one, but this is rubber, and so if we end up in that situation, which we don't want to, hopefully this will limit the potential damage we could endure. Another thing that I read when I was watching some reviews is that when you buy one of these rubber rings, what you want to ensure, if this will focus for us, is that the ring has these little ridges along the inside. That is supposedly going to help ensure that the sweat buildup does not become a problem. So this is a kit of 7 bands, silicone bands. 7 bands is a lot cheaper than a single wedding ring. So in the shop, we're going to make use of these. I view this as a form of PPE, and I'm pretty excited to start wearing them. They come in all different colors. So this is black. We've got like almost like a camo green. So there's like a white, blue, gray, dark gray, and a purplish, bluish. I think it's purple. No, that's not really purple, but that's not really blue either. So I don't know what colors these are, but that's what they give you. When you go on Amazon, there's a lot of different colors and brands to choose from, but I will leave a link to these in the description. All right, before we get into the last 2 big boxes, which again, you're gonna wanna stick around for because there's some pretty cool stuff in there. Let's just talk about these 2 quick pickups from Costco. So this is called Rapid Storage. Every time I go into Costco, I find that they have some pretty interesting stuff in like the sort of DIY, EDC, prepping department. And this is one of those things. So they, on their marketing material, these straps are mainly used for extension cords and things like that. And then these, you can pull apart, right? So you wrap it around something, and then it's got this nice grommet on here, so you can hang it. And they show, again, a number of different examples on the back in terms of people managing all sorts of stuff. So the quick straps, you get 5 in the 9-inch, 5 in the 12-inch, and then the storage straps, you get 3 10-inch, 3 13-inch, and 3 17-inch. So a lot of versatility. This was $15. So if you would find yourself interested in something like this, what I'm planning to use this for is, I had mentioned on my summarization of the snowblower video that I use those almost zip tie-like things to keep stuff together. The problem is those are pretty expensive. So I'm hoping something like this will be a slightly better solution to that. But $15 if you're interested. And then, I mean, is this just the biggest bag of microfibers you've ever seen. So this was, I think, 10 bucks for 37 microfibers. Of course, are they going to be the world's best microfibers? Probably not, but in the shop, I use microfibers all the time for stuff that I don't need, like a super high quality microfiber. If I'm doing like a metalwork or a restoration or something like that, I'm always using this. So for $10, 36, basically a lifetime supply. And then, like at O'Reilly Auto Parts, when you buy the top of the line microfiber, I think you get 3 of them for $10. You can save those for your car and whatever, but for a lot of stuff around the shop, can't go wrong. $10 at Costco. All right, we're gonna save the biggest box for last. Let's get into this one. Okay. All right, so this is just a single item. Our first tool. So this is a set of Forstner bits from Irwin. So I had a very specific reason for why I wanted to purchase these. My dad brought over a jet pump and he wanted me to build like a little, basically just a base plate for it. And the original idea was we would double up this 1/4-inch plywood, stick it together, and then put some feet on it because we have like a nut and a bolt to attach the pump to the board. And then I said, what the other thing we could do is we could basically drill, I guess what is a glorified pilot hole, so that you get the bigger hole at the bottom where the nut goes. You have your bolt coming down through and then you don't see anything, but you also don't need any feet. But I wanted to pick up some Forstner bits because I do not have any. Now, I think that these are best suited for a drill press, which I also don't have, but obviously they'll work just fine in a drill. You get a 1/4-inch, 3/8, 1/2-inch, 5/8, 3/4, 7/8, 1 inch, and 1 inch and 3/8. I do not recall off the top of my head what this kit costs, but I want to say it's around $30. And of course, when you're dealing with bits or router bits, drill bits, what have you, the pricing just seems to vary wildly, right? If you buy a Diablo bit, a single bit might cost you $50. And if you buy them at Harbor Freight, a whole set of 30 might cost you $5. So it just really depends. I thought that this was a pretty reasonable middle ground. Obviously, like I said, I don't have any Forstner bits at all yet. So my first foray into that system, and then we'll see how they work. All right, the last box, and I'm hoping that there's a lot of PPE stuff in here because I haven't had too much PPE yet, and that's really what I was expecting to open today. So I probably need to stop buying so much stuff on Amazon, but what are you gonna do? So that box is full of our PPE. I'm just gonna pull stuff out one at a time. First things first, we have Dewalt dual mold goggle. Now, you saw on the Snap-on unboxing, I picked up a new pair of safety glasses. These are more safety goggles, right? Which I want because there are instances in which a goggle is going to be what you would prefer over just a pair of glasses. Let's see if we can get these loosened and try them on. All right, so I probably have to play around with the sizing a little bit. They're not as tight to my face as I would like for them to be, because you really want them to be pretty tight. They have this rubber sort of gasket at the top to really close in on your face. But I think for any sort of metal work, these will be really nice. Certainly when I'm using any sort of wire wheel stuff, they fly everywhere. And even though I always wear protective glasses when I'm doing that kind of work, I think something like this would be a little bit better because, your eyes are everything. Next, we'll reach into the bag of PPE. Yet another pair of protective glasses. Here's the thing, there's a great YouTube channel called One Eye Customs, so named because the gentleman who owns the channel lost an eye while doing a project at one point. He has actually a great video doing like a full workshop tour, which I strongly encourage you to check out. But anyway, when he's talking about his protective glasses, because of course now this is something that's very near and dear to his heart, he probably has 100 pairs in there, right? All different shapes and sizes, but the rationale he gives during the workshop tour is, if you have someone else in the shop with you, you always want to have enough on hand so that everyone can be outfitted. So that was sort of the idea here. So now this set from 3M is, again, a little bit more robust than anything we own, but not as robust as the Dewalt. So they have this foam type film on here. So the idea is that these can also, oh wow. Oh wow. Okay, these are my new favorite protective glasses. I don't know if it's because they fit my face so well, but these are extremely nice. So yeah, these are called the foam gasket anti-fog lens, and man, these feel so good on your face. I think you would just sort of forget that you're wearing them. When I compare this to what I'm used to wearing. So like this pair from Milwaukee, you've seen me wearing a lot of videos. I mean, there is just absolutely no comparison, right? Obviously I have a lot to be desired up here. They don't fit on my face as well, and they're certainly not like attached to my face. Whereas when I put these on, oh wow, yeah, nothing's gonna get through there. These also tend to fog up if you're wearing a mask. Supposedly these, being anti-fog lenses, will not do that. So I'm actually super excited. And you know, I almost didn't buy these because I was like, well, you know, I have these and I knew I wanted a snap-on pair, but I'm actually really glad that I picked these up because they fit so nicely. Next in the bag of PPE. All right, now we're talking. So, as you saw on the video where I did the M12 die grinder sort of test, that thing, you know, as I was taking the Scotch Brite pad to it, it was kicking up all sorts of rust and gunk and just, I mean, I could see it in the air and I was like, this is a problem. I didn't have a good mask at the time to protect myself in any meaningful way. So I said, you know what? The next thing I buy must be some sort of respirator. Now, I also picked up a set of N95 masks because I don't know that you always need something like this, but I also thought that this is super cool because you kind of look like a fighter pilot
when you got this thing on. I think, do I sound like Bane? I don't know how to connect these exactly, but we'll have to figure that out.
Anyway, I picked this up. I was actually surprised. This isn't that expensive. What is expensive is this, which are the filters that go on the side of this, right? So you don't actually wear this just like this. On the side here, you clip on these McGaffers, which are P100 particulate filters. So let's see, how many did I get total? So there's 2. Okay, so I got 6 filters in total. And my expectation here is that we're basically gonna clip that on just like that, is that right? All right, so now if we put this thing on,
now we're filtering 100% of the particulates in the air. So if you take this and you combine it with something like this, I mean, now you're ready to do some serious damage, or at least you're ready to not do some serious damage to your eyes and your lungs.
Cool. Well, I am no longer concerned about doing projects which involve rust and metal and all sorts of stuff that I don't want getting inside of me because I have this 3M filter. And all in all, I mean, this was not a very expensive purchase, but I think for what you're getting, it's well worth it. And why don't we round it out with, now here's the thing, I've never worn any kind of ear protection, really ever, but you know, when you're shopping on Amazon, you buy one thing and then they recommend another thing, right? And I said, okay, well, I'm buying this and here's what they're recommending me, so we may as well just pick them up. So I didn't want something that was massive, but these are called the 3M Peltors, made in Poland, actually. So I could still hear myself when I'm talking. These certainly are not muffling all of the sound, right? And of course they would get bigger and bigger and bigger the more noise that they I guess prohibit, or like the decibel level that they allow in. Now I have a pair of really nice headphones actually that you have the batteries in and then they have the thing over here, so when it gets above a certain decibel level it doesn't let that noise in, but you can really hear people when you're having a conversation. This would be annoying to maintain a conversation with, but I'm thinking for the table saw and stuff like that, this is a pretty good pickup. The last 3 items we're going to unbox are all just varying types of tools. So first and foremost, we have a set of NEIKO socket adapter and magnetic bit holder. So this is for, you know, you throw this into your impact and now you have access to your 1/4 inch, 3/8, and 1/2 inch sockets. And the other one is for using like 1/4 inch bits. I did not have any mechanism by which to turn my impact drill into a impact gun. So that's why I bought this. These are made in Taiwan. I'm sure they're not of the highest quality, but in truth, I won't use them that often. I just wanted to have them in my box in case I wanted them in the future. That's that. Next, all right, so this is something I'm pretty excited about, and we can talk a little bit about Snap-on as I unbox this. So this is the Astro magnetic spark plug socket set. So on the video again, when I did the snowblower summarization, you know, I lamented the fact that I have these husky spark plug sockets, but you put it on and then you take it off and then the rubber piece falls out of the socket. Well, that's the whole point of having the spark plug socket, is that the rubber conforms to the spark plug. So I didn't love that, and I said, okay, time for Snap-on. But then I went on Snap-on's website, and the spark plug socket set on Snap-on's website was $500. Okay, now here's the thing. I'm not a super fan and I'm not an apologist. I'm somewhere in the middle with Snap-on. I appreciate it. In fact, I have a whole video coming out about why I choose to buy Snap-on. I have an acronym called MULE, M-U-L-E, which I'll explain in that video. But anyway, $500 was just too much for me. Now those are magnetic, but so are these. And this kit was 50 bucks. So that was a case in point of a time in which I was unwilling to spend 10 times the price for something that is more of a specialty tool, right? For regular sockets, right? I mean, I have used my 1/4-inch triple bank a dozen times already since I bought it, and I'm gonna use it hundreds or thousands of times over my lifetime. So I was fine with that price, but how many times am I swapping out spark plugs, right? Twice a year, 3 times a year? Wasn't worth it. So here's what you get from Astro. Nice blow molded case. I don't know why every single one of these is on extension, but they are. So this is your 5/8, and these are all sort of wobble type extensions, which is pretty cool. Here you have your 5/8 in the 10-inch variety. No. 5/8 in the 6-inch variety, so I'm gonna say that's not 10 inches long. 5/8, again, everything is wobbling. Then you have the 9/16 in the 6-inch variety. And finally, you have a 13/16 in a 6-inch variety. Now we're gonna test the magnetism real quick because we have some spark plugs available to us. I can already tell that I am super, super thrilled with this purchase. So this is our new Briggs & Stratton spark plug that we're going to be installing on the lawnmower. This is our 5/8 6-inch socket. So first of all, the magnet is super strong. I mean, it just wants to hold on to it. That may be a bit of a pain in certain circumstances if you're getting way down deep and this thing just won't let you line it up. But with a little bit of effort, you can line it up and it fits in there quite nicely. As I shake it, it doesn't want to fall out, which is great. We don't want it to fall out. And overall, I'm extremely happy with this kit. So if you would buy nothing else from this video, and I'm not saying you need to buy any of this stuff, I'm gonna say that number 1, the glasses. Number 2 is the breathing, because we've got to protect our lungs. And then this is gonna be number 3, because for 50 bucks, I don't think you can go wrong with this kit. All right, and then the last thing in this video, and I promise I'm gonna get you out of here, is this leather hole punch. So my mother-in-law said to me, you know, I need a hole in, I think it was a belt. Do you have a tool to do that? And I said, of course I have the tool to do that. I did not have the tool to do that, but I do now. When somebody asks me if I have the tool, I just say yes, and then I go buy it, and then I figure out how to use it. You saw that with the wrench or the watch repair kit. So this little number it was pretty cheap. I can tell you right now, it's not of the highest quality. You can usually tell by the packaging when they say high quality. You know it's actually not high quality. But this is what we got. So you get this out there. It has all of these different punches on it, and you just sort of turn it to get to the one that you're looking for that will give you the desired hole. It also comes with a bunch of replacement for this brass pad because I assume over time this thing's gonna get worn out. And the sizing on the holes is from 2 millimeter, I think, up to 4.5 millimeter at 0.5 millimeter increments. And now I have my first piece of leather working kit. So that's super exciting. Folks, that was a ton of stuff that we just unboxed. I can't thank you all enough for sticking with me through the end of this video. If you liked it, please hit the like button. It of course helps out the channel tremendously. Be sure to subscribe, and I will see you all in the very next video.